Now, what are the fields? How we are going to use? Fields are nothing but columns in the regular database. In the table, you call object as a table. Now, fields are called as columns in the table. Fields are nothing but columns in the regular table. Now, there are again two types of fields what we have: standard fields and custom fields. Fields which are created by the Salesforce, we are calling them as standard. Fields which are created by the user are called custom. Standard fields and custom fields. Now, anything that we say standard cannot be deleted. It can only be customized. Anything that you say standard, it cannot be deleted. It can only be customized. Standard fields are also again subclassified as standard fields and system fields. Now look at the point: standard fields, system fields, and custom fields. Standard, system, and custom. Now, what is the standard? Fields which are created by the Salesforce are called standard fields. Now, who is going to enter the data? Fields are created by the Salesforce only, but who will enter the data? Now, look at this. Accounts, new account. Who created all these fields? Salesforce created it. Now, who is supposed to enter the data? Salesforce will not enter the data. I was supposed to enter. Am I right? But there is one field here. Look at this. Who created this field? Salesforce. Who entered the data? Salesforce. So, fields created by the Salesforce, data is also entered by the Salesforce. Then they are called system fields. Fields which are created by the Salesforce, data is entered by you, they are regular standard fields. So, standard fields, some of the standard fields are called system fields. Again, I repeat. Let me make it clear. Basically, I have two categories: standard fields custom fields. When I say standard fields, custom fields, some of the standard fields are also called system fields. So, system fields are also standard fields, but they are called as system fields. Some of the standard fields are called system fields. Then, what is the difference between standard field and system field? Fields created by the Salesforce, data is also entered by the Salesforce, then we call it as system field. Fields created by the Salesforce, data is entered by the user, they are standard field. Is that was clear? Am I clear? Fields created by the user are called custom fields. Any query on these 3 points? Fields created by Salesforce, data entered by the user, standard. Fields created by the Salesforce, data entered by the user is a standard, entered by the Salesforce is system. Fields created by the user and data will be also created by the user. When you create, data is also created by you. It is called custom field. I hope you are good with this. Okay.
Could you please show on the that account object which field you were showing earlier, because there was some delay in the screen, so
let me complete. Let me complete theory. Now, what are the system fields? Now let us start with the first system field, ID. What is this ID? Please mute your mics. ID. Salesforce by default Salesforce by default creates 15 character ID for every record. In the table, I have a table. In the table, every record I create. In the table, every record I create, internally, Salesforce will create 18 character ID. Internally, Salesforce will create 18 character ID. Every record I create, I inserted Satish. The moment I create a record, this is how we go. Then, by default, Salesforce will create ID. What is that ID? 15 character ID. Look at this. Now, the moment record is saved, look at this, we got an ID here. Copy this ID. So, how many character ID? 15 character ID. For every record we create in Salesforce, internally Salesforce will create this ID. This ID is called record ID. ID. Internally Salesforce will create it. Now, this is a case sensitive. Look at the point. Instead of small a, I am making as capital A. Data are not available. Now, ID I modified. Small a. So that ID is what? Case sensitive. But when I am giving to some other people to use it, if it is a case sensitive, it becomes difficult for the people. That is the reason same ID is converted into 18 characters. Only one ID. For the same ID, we are adding 3 more characters, making it as 18 characters. So that's how generally we get what? 18 characters. Salesforce will create only one ID, which is a 15 character. To make it case insensitive, they have added 3 more characters and made it as 18 character. So by default, every record will have 18 character unique ID, which is a case insensitive. Are you clear? Okay. In the ID, when you say 15 character or 18 character, last 4 characters. First 3 characters will say object. First 3 characters will represent object. Last 4 characters will represent out of that 15 character ID or 18 character ID, first 3 characters will tell about object. Which object is this? Last 4 characters will tell ID of the record. Remaining characters are used for internal purpose. So, whenever a new record is created, 18 character ID will be created for 18 character ID will be created. This is the primary key for the table. Based on this ID only, we will recognize the record. In that ID, first 3 characters will tell about object. Last 4 characters will tell about record. I told you in the last class, every object will have 3 character ID. Okay. Now look at this example. Now which object is this? Account. That is the reason what we got 001. If I go to contact 003, right? So open any one of the record. What is the ID? 00. Right? First 3 will tell object, last 4 will tell record. Is that was clear? So what is the ID? Salesforce by default create 18 character unique ID for every record. Salesforce by default creates 18 character unique ID for every record. Based on this ID, Salesforce will recognize the record. Now, the ID is actually 15 character ID. Because it is a case sensitive, they added 3 more, made it as 18 character ID. It is a 15 plus 3 they added. Now it has become 18 character ID. In that, first 3 characters will tell object, last 4 characters will tell record. I hope you are good with this. Okay. This is the first standard system field. Let us go to the next field. Next field is deleted. Look at the point carefully. We have a table here.
Satish, where is that system field ID?
Boss, system fields you will not be able to see it. Some of them you can see it, some of them you cannot see it. First understand the theoretical part, then we get to the usage. Right. First let us complete the what are they first. Right. Okay. Name, phone. Now look at the point. Some ID was created. It's actually 18 character ID. I was representing short. It is a table with the records. Is deleted. Now this is the table we have. These are the records we have. The table we have here. Okay, look at this. If I try to delete any record, suppose I was trying to delete this record. Suppose I was trying to delete this record. I was trying to delete this record. When you are trying to delete this record, what will happen? Record will not be removed from the table. When you delete the record will not be deleted from the table. Record is still in the same table. But the value of is deleted is made as true. When you delete a record is still in the table only. Record is still in the table only, but the value is kept as true. When it is true, don't use this record for any logics. Record is a deleted record, but still in the table. How long it will be there? For 15 days it will be there in the table. Even though you have deleted the record is still in the table. Even though when you delete the record is still in the table. How long? 15 days. How long is this? 15 days. After 15 days, record is permanently deleted. When you delete the record is still in the table. Why? When you delete the record, if I remove this record from here, tomorrow when I create the record again, when I delete, if I delete the record from the table, again when I say undelete, new record should be created. When you create a new record, ID will change. You removed from the table one more record. If you try to undelete it, again the same record is getting created in the table. When the same record is getting created in the table, ID will change. When ID is changed, both are not same. There is a reason when you delete the record is not deleted from the table. Still, the record will be there in the table. How long it is going to be there? 15 days. After 15 days, record will be permanently deleted. During these 15 days, how do you know whether record is a deleted record or not? By looking at is deleted. So what is that is deleted? It is a system field. You cannot see it directly. You have to write a program to find out. But every field that we have in the table may or may not be visible to you. Right. Now, please do not disturb in the middle of discussion. I'll give the time for asking questions. Right. Now, what is that? We got is deleted. What is that is deleted? It is a Boolean value. What is that is deleted? Is a Boolean value. When I say it is a Boolean value, when you delete a record is deleted. When I say deleted, the value of is deleted is kept as true. In the same table, record will be there, but the value of is deleted is kept as true. When is deleted equal to true, that record will be displayed in the recycle bin. In the recycle bin, the record will be displayed. Recycle bin, record will be displayed. Recycle bin, record will be displayed. In the recycle bin, record will be displayed. But where is the record? Record is in the table only. Right? Any record we create, record is in the table only. Any record that we create, record is in the table only. But the point here is, when you delete, the value of is deleted is kept as true. Then when you say it is a true, it is a deleted record. How long it is? 15 days. After 15 days, record will be permanently deleted. After it is deleted, you cannot get it back. Right? Okay. Now go ahead. What is your query, Amma?
Hi Satish. The thing is, you explain why the record is not getting deleted. So can you please explain that one more time?
Now, when I delete this record from the table,
Okay.
removed. When you undelete again, when I undelete again, please
Okay.
mute your mic. When you undelete again, record is getting created. When the record is again getting created, for every record that is created, ID will come. Now, what is the record I deleted? 001. What is the record now we created? 004. It is a new record. It is not the same old record. Wherever I use this ID of 001, it will not work out for me. So when you delete, when you recreate, new ID will be created. So boss, when you delete, don't delete it permanently. Keep it in the hold for 15 days. After 15 days, you can get it deleted permanently. If you feel that, yes, there is no issue with that, you can delete it permanently. Are you clear about it? When you delete and recreate, new ID will be created. I don't want the new ID. I want the same record. I don't want new ID for it. I want the same old ID. Then when you delete, it's true. When you undelete, it's false again. So we are not touching the data. We are not touching the IDs. We are only managing the value of is deleted. Is that was clear, boss? Okay. Now.
Yes, Satish. Thank you.
Satish, you just said when you undelete, the ID will be changed. But now you are saying
Now,
no ID
I
will be not
told
changed.
why it cannot be deleted. She asked that I explained. If you delete that, if a record is deleted, this is the process. But what I told, if record is deleted, that is not deleted from the table. What was my explanation? You are not listened to the explanation completely. I told, if suppose if record is deleted from the table, then what will happen? I explained. But practically is what? When you delete, record is not getting deleted from the table. That is the reason record is not deleted from the table. I explained. When you delete the record is not deleted from the table, because if your record is deleted from the table and when you undelete it, a new ID will be created. That is the reason Salesforce will not remove the record from the table. That is the statement I have given. I didn't mention that record will be deleted from the table. She has asked me a question, why record is not deleted from the table? Why are you managing with a field called is deleted? Are you getting my point? Now, why you are not deleting the record from the table? Why are you putting the same record in the table? Even though you deleted, why are you maintaining the record in the table? Okay, for that I gave an explanation saying that if the record is removed from the table, tomorrow if you want to undelete it, New record will be created with the same data. ID will change. It will impact. That is the reason they are not deleting the record from the table. They are simply making is deleted equal to false. Is that was clear, Amma?
Okay, so if we undelete the record, the ID will be the same. So there will be no change in any field, including
Only,
ID.
see, again I repeat my explanation. When you delete, record is still in the table. Nothing will happen. Only the value of each deleted is kept as false. Right. When you say undelete, nothing will change. Only the value of each deleted is kept as. When you delete, it is kept as true. When you undelete, it is kept as false. As simple as that. There is no
Got it.
complexity.
Thank
Right, boss. Let's go to the next one. So we have seen, I hope everyone is good with that. ID and is deleted. Let us go to the next one.
No, sorry, Satish, one question here.
Go ahead.
You said it will be deleted state equals to true for 15 days, right?
Yeah, it is kept as true. When the record is deleted and kept as true, it will be there in the table for 15 days. After 15
After
days,
that, it completely deleted.
exactly, it will be deleted. After that,
Okay, so you want to. So after that, you cannot restore it. You have to recreate it, isn't
yes,
it?
we cannot restore it.
Oh, right. Thank you.
And please do
And
not.
this ID will randomly generated, right?
Yeah, it's created by the randomly generated. I told you clearly, please do not interrupt the class until I complete the physical component. Right. At the end, I'll give you the time for asking a question. Now let us see. We just started with ID. Now discussions are going on. Okay. At the end, I'll give you time to clarify all your queries. Let's first finish off the theoretical part. Then we'll discuss about the points. Okay. Please do not interrupt at every point. I'll give the time after completing the fields. Okay. Let me complete the system fields. I'll give you time for asking your questions. Now, let us go to the next one. What is the next field we have? Created date. What is this created date? It will store date and time when the record was it will store date and time when the record was created. Then I have last modified date. What is this last modified date? It will store date and time when the record was listen to the point, when the record was manually modified. When I say when the record was manually modified, go to the record, you are modifying the record. Now you can change the value in the record by using a program, by using a tool, or you can go to the record directly and modify the value. Now I am modifying the value manually. I went to the record, I changed the value. When was the record modified manually, not by the programs? When was the last time the record was manually modified by the user? When was the last time when the record was manually modified by the user, which is called last modified date. Date and time when the record was lastly modified by the user manually. System mod stamp. It will store date and time when the record was modified manually or programmatically. It will store date and time when the record was modified manually or programmatically. System mod stamp. It will store date and time when was the record modified lastly by the user manually or programmatically. So when was the last time the record was modified? It can be by program or by using manual. So last modified date, date and time when the record was modified manually. System mod stamp, date and time when the record was modified manually or programmatically. Is that was clear? Okay. Now, in the organization, I created a user, Sham. I created a user called Sham. How do we recognize the Sham? Every user will have, again, 18 character ID. For every user will have 18 character ID. User is a table where I created the list of users. All the employees will be created under user. So, user table, users will be created. Every user will have 18 character ID. So, we have here created by ID. ID of the user who created the record. Last modified by ID. ID of the user who modified the record lastly. So who was the user who modified the record lastly? Who was the user who created the record? Who was the user who created? Who was the user who modified? Created date. Last modified date. System mod stamp. Created by ID. Last modified by ID. So created a date and time when the record was created. Last modified date and time when the record was manually modified by the user. System mod stamp, date and time when the record was modified manually or programmatically. Created by ID of the user who created the record. Last modified by ID of the user who modified the record. Okay, lastly. So all these 5 fields now we call it as system fields. So under the system fields, what we had? ID. Created date. Last modified date. Now, these are the 5. Who is going to generate the values? System. Who is going to generate the value? System. Okay. Now, I may not be able to see each and every system field, but when you write a program, you can get all the fields. Some of the fields only visible on the UI. Not every field is visible on the UI. If you want to get all these fields, we have to write a SQL query programmatically and get it. Now let us see. If you look at this, we are getting here. Last modified by Satish on the so and so date. Created by Satish on so and so date. So what was that? Created by ID and modified. Okay, created date. Last modified by ID and last modified date. System mod stamp you cannot see here. If you write a program, you can find out. ID of the record will not be visible here. I can see the ID here. Or I can write a program. I can write a program. Or you're getting is deleted. You cannot see the field here. But when you write a SQL query, you get the value. Are you getting my point here? So every field may or may not be visible on the UI. System fields, if you want to get all the system fields, write a program, SQL queries and get it. But manually we cannot get it. Is that was clear for everyone? Now go ahead with your questions. Now nobody will ask.
Satish.
Yeah.
Satish, I have is there any system field called modification number?
No.
How many times I have modified?
No. See,
because I want to use in
got your
programming.
point. Got your point. Okay. Now there is no standard field. He has a question. This guy has a question. Do you have any standard field which will specify how many times the record was modified? Do you have any standard field which will tell you how many times the record was modified? No such type of standard field is available to tell you how many times the record was modified. If you want, you are supposed to create a custom field. This guy want a field on that record which says how many times you modified. Every time you modify, the count should be incremented by 1. So do you have any standard fields to find out this functionality? No such type of functionality. It's your business requirement. You have to create a custom field and build it. Is that was clear, boss? Okay. So to
another question.
Yes.
Another question related to this.
Mm.
So you said like last modified by user will be displayed on user interface. If I update anything from SQL query,
First, let me
SQL,
cut you here. No
yeah,
system field I can guarantee that they'll be displayed. Second point. Now UI is your choice. Now what you want to display is your choice. It is not necessary that everybody has to display your fields. Now let us say, right boss, hello. Now which field, the table which field I want to display is my choice. So now let us say when Salesforce created, they are showing the last modified date and everything. Now according to my company business rules, I should not display that. I am doing it. According to my system, according to my business rules, they should not be displayed. I'm not displaying. Now, when you
my
speak,
question is different. My question is,
let me finish. Let me finish.
sorry.
Now, when I speak about UI, everybody will not have the same UI. Now, what need to be displayed on the UI is your choice. So let us not merge field with UI. Now, if you want to display the field on the UI, you will display it. If you don't want, you will not. The point here is system fields will be displayed on the UI only when you add it. Okay, by default, system will display some of the fields, but it's your choice whether you want to still show it or not. Now let us say just now when I opened last modified date, last modified user, created date, created by ID, Salesforce was displaying, but according to my requirement, I should not show it. I removed it. Okay, let us say the same way. I want to show is deleted. I want to show is deleted, but do you have that option to show is deleted? Look at this. Anywhere are you finding? So every field I will not have a permission to display every field I create in the table. Let it be a system field. Let it be a system field. Let it be a standard field. Okay. Now as I told you, is deleted. I cannot show it on UI. I cannot show it in UI. ID, I cannot show it on the UI. Which UI? Standard UI. If you design your own UI, you can display whatever you want. Are you getting my point? So UI is what? Page boss. Now how are you displaying? When you are building your own page, it's your choice what you want to display, and you can display everything. When I am giving my own standard page, I have some restrictions. I am only giving those. If you like it, use it. Otherwise, you build your own page. You get my point? As a standard, I am giving some features to you. As a standard, I am giving some features. If you like the same format, use it. If you don't like it, build your own custom format, display it. Right? First point. Yeah. Go ahead with your second question.
Yeah. So in any traditional databases, when anyone trying to update from backend, it won't display on user interface. So in this Salesforce, if anybody update from backend, does it displays last modified on user interface? This is what my question
Right.
for audit trail purpose.
Now, let me finish your answer. He has a question here. He is asking if somebody is modifying the data from third-party system, that is a Salesforce connected with Oracle. Now, in the Oracle database, any change is happening on the data that should be saved to the Salesforce. Now, who is modifying the data? From some third party. Now, how the third party is connected to your system is not a programmatical, right? If you are using a third party system, if you are using a third party system, who is modifying it? It is a programmatical interface. It is a programmatical interface. Now, I told two ways: manual, last modified, date. It is a traditional database. In the traditional, if you manually modified, last modified. Now, I am saying there is another option here available, which is called system mod stamp, which will store date and time when the record was modified manually or programmatically. So, if some third party system is connecting to you, by what means it is connecting? A web service call or maybe ETL tool, right? So, the data will be stored in the system mod stamp. When the data was modified manually or programmatically, that will be stored in the system mod stamp. When the data was modified only manually, it will be stored in last modified date. So, in your case, system mod stamp will contain the data what is stored here. Okay, right. I hope you got your question.
Yeah, got it. Got it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, what is your question, ma? See, now the space taken by record depends upon how many fields you are taking, what type of data you are taking, depends upon the record size. Now he has a table with 10 fields. I have a table with 400 fields. Now how can you say how much space I will be giving? Depends upon the, okay. No, if it's entire question, you have to slap it. Right. So question is how much space is taken by a record? On what basis you can say how much space is taken by a record? Now you have a table with 3 fields. I have a table with 1 field. She has a table with 500 fields. The memory size is fixed. One record, 1 KB. Right. So no such type of answer will be there. Yeah. Come again. What about? I didn't get you. Can you see? See. Now, at the time of creating a object, I told one concept: track field history. Now, when you say it's not a version of the field, you want to check. You want to check when was it modified, what was the old value, what was the new value. Now, if you remember, at the time of creating a object, I gave a option. What is that? Track field history. Okay, if you go to the track field history and enable that field, any change that is made on the field will be stored as a history. From there, you can check it out. Okay, right. Track field history. Yes. Right. I explained the same point twice. Again, making it. If you delete the record, record is not deleted from the table. Only the value of each is modified. Still, the record is same. ID is same. Now, I gave explanation. Some girl has asked me why it is not getting deleted from the table when you delete it. For that, I gave an answer. If you delete like this, ID will be regenerated. That is the reason Salesforce will not delete the record ID. Salesforce will not delete the record. Only it keeps the value of is deleted equal to true. To give that as a support to that answer I have given, explain why it is not getting deleted. Let me put this point again once again. Right. Now, there is when you delete a record, generally what we assume, our general assumption is forget about ID. Forget about ID. Don't consider ID into the picture now. Let us not consider ID. Let us take a regular database. Regular database. In the regular database, if I say delete the record, what will happen? From the table, record is deleted. Am I right? It's not Salesforce. I am speaking about regular. If you delete the record, what will happen? Record will be deleted. When you do, okay, undelete it. Right? Now here, when you create a regular database, your record is recognized based on some primary key. In every table, record is identified uniquely by some primary key. In the Salesforce, the primary key is ID. In the Salesforce, for every record, primary key is ID. Primary key is ID. So this record is recognized by this ID. Now let us assume, right? Assume when you delete the record is deleted. Right? Who is going to create this ID? Okay, Salesforce. When you undelete, record will come here. When you undelete, record will come here. When you undelete, record will come here. Now, when record is created in the table, what will happen? Salesforce will generate some ID. Because that ID is created by the Salesforce. When you undelete, I am creating the data in the table. Whatever the data you deleted, the same data I am creating in the table. When you are creating, Salesforce automatically creates. Okay. No, I cannot create my own ID. Now you can say, boss, I want to undelete with the same ID I want to create. You cannot create a record with ID. ID is not given by you. ID should be given by the Salesforce. When you are undeleting, you are giving the ID. When you give the ID, you cannot give the ID, system has to generate. So when you undelete, only data will come, ID should be generated by the Salesforce. So now different ID is getting generated. So there is a problem with this. That is the reason Salesforce told, if you delete, record will be still in the table. Record is still in the table. When you delete, don't delete the record from the table. When you delete, don't delete the record from the table. In the Salesforce, what will happen? Till now, whatever I explained, it is outside the Salesforce. In the Salesforce, what happened? When you delete the record, the record is not deleted. It is in the table. Here this kept as true. We say record is deleted or not deleted based on this field. We say record is deleted or not deleted based on this field. Now the problem with showing this example is, I told you not every system field can be shown on UI. I cannot show the system field on easy deleted on the UI. So let me show it in the programmatical. When I write a program, I can show it. Now, what was this? Delete. Okay. First, look at the point. What is the ID we got? This is the ID. I deleted the record. Ready labs. I deleted the record. I'll write a program and show you. Using UI, I cannot show it. Now, let me get. If you go to this, what are you finding here? Are you finding ready labs here? How many records you are getting? 12 records. Because the record was deleted. Let me show from here. So somebody's asked me, so I was supposed to go to a program and show you. Because I cannot show this example. The system field, I told you repeatedly. System field, all the fields I cannot show it on the UI. Don't be worried about this program. Right. This is the reason we try to avoid the questions. Okay, because which will create a complex process which cannot be shown on the UI. For every point, we will not be able to show it on the UI. Okay. Right. Now, what was the value? Ready lab is deleted equal to true. Now why? Because I deleted the record. Okay, where did I now? I wrote a query on which object? I wrote a query on account. In the account table, I told get all the records which are created today. Let us see. A dot ID. Now look at this. What was ID? What was ID? This is ID. Now is deleted equal to true. Now why? Because the record was deleted. Same record I was undeleting. Go to recycle bin. Undelete. Now, please do not type the messages, boss. Right? Now, what was this? Okay. Right.
So using program, if you want to undelete means you have to make that is delete equal to false,
You
right?
don't make new statements now. Now you are making wrong statements. Now I told I can show you using a program. I didn't say that you are deleting a record using a program. I'm showing the value of is deleted using a program. See, boss, again I am repeatedly making a statement. Do not drag the topic out of the discussion. Do not compare complete application with the topic what we are discussing. We are at the beginning of the application. We're just at the beginning. Don't compare entire your application with the Salesforce. Now, when you move out of the topic, the regular people who are new to these technologies and everything, they will not be following the entire discussion, and the interest on the topic will be lost. The simple topic, let us make not complex. Anybody want to make a comparison with your existing application? Please ask the question at the end of the session. Right? You need to understand your question is only understandable to you when you compare with your application. Already people are, some of the working people, you are working with respect to your application. When you ask a question, the question is only understandable to you only. When you start explaining the discussion like this in between, now it goes out of the track, and people will not follow. The people who are following the topic, they'll be lost. Now there is a different group of people sitting in the class. Please ask the question at the end of the session. Right? So this again, if I don't answer, people say I'm not answering questions. Right? So all category of students will be there in the group. So it's very hard to satisfy everyone. So please ask the questions related to, not related to the topic, with respect to when you want to compare with any application or any other. Please ask me at the end of the discussion, at the end of the class, so that rest of the people will not be sitting idle. I have been telling the same statement from the beginning of the class. Please do not pull the topic out of the discussion. So if you want to compare with your existing application or any other use cases you want to discuss, please discuss at the end, so that the rest of the people will not be disturbed from the flow. Again, I am making repeatedly statement. If you want to make any use case examples, you have any use case to be compared, please ask me at the end of the session, so that the other people will not be disturbed. So understand, it is almost a group of 200 plus. Please ask the questions at the end. On the topic what I am discussing, with respect to what I discussed, you have, I'll give a time, you can ask me. Any use cases or comparisons, please do it at the end of the session. Now, again, I show it right now to tell you how the topic will go. Now, again, if I want to show this is equal to true, I will write a program and show it. That's the reason I am not going to the UI part. Okay. So, if I am avoiding something, there is a meaning for it. Please understand it and get, because we are at the very beginning of the stage. If I am trying to avoid some question, there is a meaning for it. Right, boss? Please do comparisons at the end of the class. Okay. Right. See, actually today I was supposed to complete entire field concept, but only we are still at system.fields. Okay. Right. I hope till now everyone is clear with that. So what was that? ID. Okay. ID is deleted. Okay. Is deleted. Okay. ID is deleted. Created by ID. Okay. Last modified by ID. Last modified date, and system mod stamp, and last modified by ID. Right. I hope you're good. See, the point is, in the class we have a different category of people, different type of learners, different type of scope. So at every point there should be, I should break the point at some level, because everything we cannot satisfy everyone. So somebody has to compromise at the end. So if you spend the time at the end, you get what you need. Okay. So some I can answer at the middle of the session, some I can answer at the end of the session. But I cannot take all the questions during the discussion. That you need to understand. People have to understand the time is short, so I cannot take every question at the middle of the question. So whichever the topic will deviate from the discussion, I will avoid it at the middle of the class. I can answer this question at the end of the session, right? So if I'm avoiding asking you to ask at the end of the session, this question is disturbing the flow of the topic, right? That you need to understand it, right, boss? Right. Okay. So problem is all 200 people will not be with the same attitude. All 200 people will not be with the same way of understanding and same of acceptability also. That we need to go with. Okay. Now let us go with the next point. Okay. So now I have started taking questions. Somebody is told not to ask question. So now somebody typed a message. I am fresher. This is what the problem will be, right? So we'll not be able to satisfy everyone. That's the reason we ask every question at the end, so that will be good for everyone. Okay. Right. Let us go for the next point. So let us make it very simple. System fields are what? Created by Salesforce, and data is entered by Salesforce. Let us go to standard fields. When I go to standard fields, setup, look at the point. Build, customize, lead, fields. Now, in the lead object, who created all these fields? Who created all these fields? Salesforce has created all these fields. In the lead object, we'll be creating these fields. All these fields are created by the Salesforce. But who is entering the data? User will be entering the data. User is entering the data. These are called standard fields. Standard fields. Okay. And system fields are also what? System fields are also standard fields. Okay. Let us go to custom field. What is a custom field? What is a custom field? Now the field which you have created are called custom field. Now the question here is, when you want to create your own field, what are the different type of fields you can create? What are the data types what we have? What are the different types of fields we have? What are the different type of data types we have? Different type of fields we have, different type of data types we have. Now let us look at this context here. Try to understand data types of the field. First one, we'll go with the text type. When I say text, if you create a field as a text, format. So text, we are going with the format. What is the format? It is a alphanumeric. Now it is going to accept alphanumeric. Maximum length 255 characters. What is the maximum data I can enter? 255 characters. Is it a single line or multiple lines? Can I enter the data in a single line or multiple lines? So entire data should be entered in the single line. What if I want to enter the data in multiple lines? Then there is an address which I have to enter in multiple lines. Some remarks which I want to enter in multiple lines. Then we have text area. When I say text area, same story. Only the difference is multiple lines. Alphanumeric 255 characters, multiple lines. Alphanumeric 255 characters, multiple lines. Then I am going with now if I want to enter more than 255 characters, text area long. Now I want to give a description. Then I go for what? Text area long. Alphanumeric, maximum 1,31,000. Now look at the format. If I go to this, and tell you new, what was this? Text 255 characters. Text area 255 characters. Okay. Now next we have text area long 1,31,072 characters on multiple lines. We are going with the multiple lines. When I go with this, it is with the multiple lines. Now if you don't mention the size, default size 32,768. 32,768. So text text area, text area, text area long, text area long. Now suppose if I want to upload any image, now otherwise when I go to Word document, now they are saying bold, italic, font, okay, numbering, align left, align right. In the Word document you get it, right? In the Word document you are getting some structure. This is what? This is called now we are taking this is what? Formatted data. We call this as formatted data. We call this as what? Formatted data. This is formatted data. So if you want to store any formatted data, the formatted data, watermark will come, images will come, alignments will come, combinations will come. So this is called formatted data. Text area rich. Format. We are going to take formatted data. Max default right, single line or multiple line, multiple line. So text area long, text area rich. So this is text format. Then we have number. If you want to take any numerical value, when I say numerical value, it can be a decimal, or it can be an integer. Maximum length 18 characters. 18 characters. Length of integer part plus length of integer part plus length of decimal part. 18 characters, like I told. Five plus 2, 7. Maximum length of integer plus decimal together, it is 18 characters. Now, currency. If you want to take any currency value, format. Currency format. Maximum value 18 characters. Currency value. Now, like $100, the currency symbol will come. Now we have percentage. It will append percentage symbol after the value. 10%, 12%. So what is this percent? This will append percentage symbol. This will append percentage symbol. So maximum length 18 character. Text area long, number, currency, percent. Text area long, okay. Then text area rich, number, currency, percent. Then again we have date. Date will take a particular date value. Date time, this is going to take date along with the time. Time, only time it is going to take. Checkbox, true or false. When I say checkbox, it will store true or false. Then I have phone. If you want to store phone numbers, we have a data type called phone, which will take only phone numbers. Email, for storing email address. URL, for storing URL of the site. Geolocation, if you want to store longitude and latitude, geolocation. Date will store date value. Date and time will store date along with the time. Time will store only time value. Checkbox true or false. Phone number, email, URL, geolocation. Are you getting my point? Right. So let me give you a quick look at this. Everyone look at this. Right. Checkbox, true or false. Currency, you are going to store currency value. Depends upon your company currency. If you have chosen rupees, rupees 10,000, dollar 10,000, we are going to get. Date, this will store date, particular date from the calendar. Date time, date along with the time. Email, email address. Geolocation, longitude and latitude. Number, any numerical value, decimal or integer value. Percent, it is going to append a percentage symbol. Quickly is not yet covered for you. Text, text area long, text area rich. Text encrypted I have not covered for you. Time, URL. I hope you are good. These are some of the basic data types what we have. So when you want to create a field, we have to understand. When you want to create a field, we have to understand what are the existing databases, existing data types we have. Which type will be used for what purpose? So when you want to create a field, first we need to understand what are the data types we have and what is the purpose of each data type. Okay. Now the question is, how can you create your own custom field? You want to create your own custom field, how can you create? So when you want to create your custom field, there are three ways of creation. One is standard navigation. Second one is schema builder. Third one is metadata SOAP API. So custom fields can be created by using what? Schema builder, standard navigation, and metadata SOAP API web service. Okay. Now let us see this. How to create a field? Everyone here? Everyone, look at the screen. Setup, build, create, objects. Setup, build, create objects. Go to the object. So we have standard fields. We have custom fields. New custom field. Once again, setup, build, create, objects, choose the object, custom fields and relations. Step number 1, choose the data type, text. Next, enter the field name. What is the maximum length of the name? I gave 80 characters. Now you are finding this icon, right? This is called help text. This is called as what? Help text. You want to preview any help text also? Right. Then you are finding a red mark here, right? It's called required. You want to get required. Now unique. Now they are asking, is Satish all of them are same or not same? What does it mean? Is it a case sensitive or not? Case sensitive is small and capital are same or not? Now if I want to take them as different values, if I want to take all the three as three different values, then I have to say, okay, treat them as case, okay, treat them as different values. Case sensitive. Treat them as case sensitive. Then what happened? These three are not same. They will be creating three different records. No, I accepted here. Both of the, okay, all of them are same. Then what happened? All the three Satishes are same. When somebody enter, already record exists. Boss, do you want to accept the duplicate value? Can I create two records with a name called Satish? Okay, it's your choice. You want to create? Remove this. So it will not check uniqueness. No, there should be only one person with a name called Satish. Then they are asking, Satish small, Satish capital. Both of them are same or different. If you say it is a case sensitive, then what happened? If you write Satish in small letter, one record will be created. Satish in capital letters, another record will be created. Are you getting my point? Right. Okay. Then don't touch any other things as of now. Next, next, save. Don't touch anything, just give next, next, save. Then go to customer tab, new, what happened here? We got required help text, right? So let us do one more time. Setup, build, create objects, customer object. Now why are you getting underscore underscore C? Customer. New, choose the data type, text. First name. Just don't touch anything. Next. Next. Then again I am going new. Now I have taken phone number. Data type is phone number. Next. So what I am doing? Enter the data. Next. Next. Again. New. Choose the data type. Next. Email. Next. Alright. Are you clear about it? New. Date of birth. Next. 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 Record. The field is created. It is giving you for creation of next. So what is the navigation? Setup, build, create, object, object name, custom fields and relation. Right? So go to the object. New. These are the fields what I created. Previously I created only table. Now I have created my own fields. Now in the lightning, what we do in the lightning? Go to lightning. Setup. Right. Now we have platform tools, objects and fields. Then we have object manager. Administrator, look at the point. Platform tools, objects and fields, object manager. Go to the object which you want. Then here we have fields and relations. Then create new field. Choose the data type. Address. Next. Next. I hope you are good with this. Setup. Setup. Platform tools. Setup. Platform tools. Objects and fields. Object manager. Then we have go to the object. Fields and relations. New. Then check the data type. Next. 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 I hope you are good. So this is the way of creating a custom field. And I told you there is another way. What was that? Schema builder. We can create the fields by using a schema builder also. Right. Now look at this. Setup, build, schema builder. Then choose the object which you want. Which object you want to choose? Course. Select the course object. Now what we have? Elements. Now choose the data type, drag and then we are giving, choose the data type, Just drag and drop. Are you clear about this? Now how I'm doing again? Setup, build, lightning bolt, schema builder. Which object you want to choose? Let us say I want to choose a branch. Choose the object, elements. I got branch email address. Just as a drag and drop. But the problem here is when you create the fields using this schema builder, they won't be displayed on the UI. We have to manually display it. By default, they will not be displayed in the UI. So let me give you. Go to the create tabs, new tab. Because if you want to see the object, a tab is required. Now save. Go to this recruitment app, course, new. Are you able to see the remaining fields? So if you create the fields using schema builder, you will not be seeing the fields on the UI. We have to go and add it separately. So what I will do? Setup, build, create, objects. Go to the course object. Scroll down. What are you finding here? Edit. Drag and drop the fields. So by default, they are not getting added. If you go with the standard navigation, by default the fields are added to UI. But when you go to force.com, they are not added. We are supposed to add them manually. Is that was clear? So in how many ways I can create the custom fields? 3 ways. Standard navigation, schema builder, metadata, SOAP API. Now, fields will fall under which part of MVC? Model part of MVC. Fields will fall under model part of MVC. What is the difference between the way of creating the fields in schema builder and standard navigation? Using standard navigation, if we create, they are by default added to the UI. Go and click on the tab, you can see. After the fields are added, click on the tab, click on new, you can see the field. But if you go to the force.com, they will not be visible. Then what should I do? Go to the object, page layout, add the fields. Is that was clear for everyone? Clear, boss? Am I clear? Right. So that's all from my end for the day. We'll continue. Online people can stay back for a minute.